morning, friends. It's Nancy. It's Saturday morning. Goodness, it's the 16th of March. So I had a question, a comment really, in one of my recent thrift hauls. I think it was Teresa. Hi, Teresa. And she said, Nancy, you're always talking about using packaging and wrappers and that sort of thing from vintage sewing items to make ephemera. So why don't you show us how you do that? So, so I've got a few things here. I'm going to do a little craft with me, but I got things started. So this is the back of a vintage pattern envelope. So I cut out this square part that was framed in, and I've glued it to some craft colored cardstock. The button card here, I've glued it to some coffee dyed paper. This is a wrapper from tapestry wool. I've glued it to coffee dyed paper. This is mending, like this would have had mending wool wrapped around it. You guessed it, coffee dyed paper. This is a card, a needle card. I used my X-Acto knife to cut the flappy thing and cut the inside of this frame. This is wrapping from a seam binding. This is a little label from a sweater. And this is a pocket. So tissue paper pattern, and I used a glue stick to glue this to cardstock. And you just have to be really careful and go slow. This is a raggedy old pattern envelope. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but I've glued it to this light blue report cover or something. And it looks really Eastery to me, feeling spring. But I haven't really decided what I'm going to do with this yet. I'll show you a few other things. So I do have, these are little paper labels that would have been inside like tatting thread and crochet thread, little balls of thread. So I've popped those out. I do have, like, here's a little card that still has the hook and eyes on it. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to use that or not. I do have quite a few pattern envelopes that are in different states of repair. Look at this one with the poodle skirts. This one's cute too. I love the little skirts. I feel like I had a dress like this. But there is one journal maker who makes gorgeous journals out of these pattern envelopes. Her name is Kitty Witty Papercraft, and they're really fresh and bright and colorful. I will leave a link below. Okay, so I haven't got anything planned here. Oh, I wanted to show you some other mending cards. Look at that one. So these mending cards, like, they're a really nice size to make tags out of. And some of them have like really interesting graphics. Look at that. Wish that wasn't missing some there, but it is. It's too bad this is missing too. Anyway, keep your eyes out for those. I have tons of button cards in various state of repair. This had lace on it. got this cardboard ruler, and I thought I could decorate this and make belly band out of it. And I got some other, you know, bags and assorted papers and things, so got a lot going on here. Oh, excuse me. This is a little label from the outside of darning cotton, or darning, mending wool. So it would have been wrapped. I thought that's pretty. Kind of got a gold, antique gold shimmer to it. So I went ahead and did the pre-gluing piece, and now what I'm going to do is a little bit of sewing. So I won't force you to watch that, but I will be back shortly, and I will have all of these stitched up. Okay, I'm back. I've got these all stitched around. Not sure what's going on with my voice today. Wow. Some of them needed a little bit of trim. This had a white edge on either side. I trimmed that off. I didn't like it. This one had a kind of a raggedy thing going on, so I trimmed that off. So I'm going to go ahead and start inking these. You know, I don't like to ink things very darkly, but if you do, go for it. And maybe by inking things a little, some of these more grubbier ones will look like it's supposed to be like that. I mean, these things get icky. They've been around a long time and in boxes that get dusty. So my plans for vacation are set. My daughter-in-law and I leave 2 weeks today. So we're gonna fly into Tampa, and from our separate cities, and we'll meet at the airport and spend the night near the airport, and then the next day meet up with my mother-in-law. So I've got her flight to book today. She'll be coming back on, I think, the 10th of April is what we agreed to. Anyway, so I had to check today to make sure that none of the flights that I booked had been affected by the grounding of the Boeing. Can't remember which Boeing it is. 737 MAX 8 or something like that. So this one might look like it's a little, excuse me, looks like it's not very raggedy, and I like a little more distressed look, so I will show you how I will accomplish that. Little feet. Still using a makeup sponge because I haven't found my ink distressing tool. Today's the day I'm going to buy one though. This is it. So the good thing about all of these shapes is they can be used in a variety of ways. They could be a tuck spot in on a page. They could be a journaling card. They could be a pocket. They could be the background for a collage or an image. There's just a lot of ways that you can use these, and it's not rocket science. So yeah, I didn't do the back of that one. So every piece is treated the same way. It's glued onto a stabilizing piece of paper or card, and then trimmed, I've stitched it. You don't need to stitch it. And then distressing and embellishing. So it's really not all that complicated. And I tend to do things as in an assembly line fashion. So, you know, do all of the gluing, do all of the cutting, do all of the stitching. And actually, I go as far in the stitching process as to assembly line sew. So instead of, you know, sew, pull it out, cut the thread, get the next one, I barely leave space between each one. And that way the threads don't get sucked down into your bobbin case, and you're not wasting thread. So give that a try if you haven't. So that's a technique that I learned when I was quilting. You know, you're sewing together little squares of fabric, and it's, you know, if you cut between each one, you'd be really slowed down. I made a tag out of a mending wool card a couple months ago, and it was red one, and I put an old-fashioned little girl on it, and it turned out really cute, very Christmassy. I haven't put it in anything because I just enjoy it the way it is. So some things are going to lend themselves to being little booklets. So for example, this is going to be a little booklet, and I'm going to put an image here. And this one is going to be a little booklet. I don't know if I'll add pages, but I'll probably, oh well, for sure I'll embellish it somehow. I've used black thread on these, even though it's not my preferred thread. I prefer to use an ecru that just, you don't necessarily see the stitching, but you see the texture, if that makes any sense at all. I'm guessing not. So I've been thinking about this all week because I was so excited by Teresa's question. I haven't seen a robin yet, and usually that's the sign of spring, is to see a robin, but they're late coming home this year. And I'm telling you, I'm ready for spring. Oh well, I'll bring it back from Florida with me. So I'm not sure I told you or not. I think like generally when I would be driving from Florida, I would take I-75 through Georgia and Tennessee and Kentucky and Ohio, cross over at Detroit. But we're going to take I-95 for quite a bit. So that will take us through Jacksonville and Savannah. And we're just going to sort of follow the eastern seaboard. We will be in DC during the Cherry Blossom Festival, so that'll be cool. I was watching a documentary, it was a British documentary actually, the other night about, and it talked specifically about Interstate 95 because it connects so many of the really big cities. And the fentanyl crisis. And I'm telling you, it just boggles the mind. I know, I had a young man in to see me, I guess it was Wednesday, who is part of a primary care outreach team. And I was talking to him about changes that are being made at his program, and I said, what you need is a safe injection site. And he said, yeah, I know, I'm pushing for that, but they're not exactly legal. I said, just do it. Just do it. And he says, you know, I have at least one overdose a week. And, you know, I'm not a doctor or a nurse, he says, but, you know, thankfully I work with doctors and nurses, so they're there to sort of take over in a crisis situation. But it's just so sad, you know. A very hopeless feeling, and you just wonder, you know, what happened in your life that you're willing to give it all up. Hence the reason I craft, because otherwise I would be in a fetal position under my craft table, stinking of gin. Okay, so I kind of had an idea for this one, that I would glue a little piece of fabric on it. I also had a little cutout. I wonder where I put that. I put it somewhere. I'm gonna look for 5 more seconds, and then that's it. If I don't find it, it wasn't meant to be. And I found it. Excellent. Good job, Nance. So I know that this card that I'm doing right now is really raggedy looking, and you know, you might have overlooked it because it's not all that pretty. But once we cover up that bit, right, just lightly give this a little bit of color. So I felt kind of bad for this young guy because he's doing some really, really gritty work in our community. And I know I get to see things that would have others run screaming in the night, but this poor kid. So there's a little iron. Now I've got this jar that I just throw little bits and scraps of stuff into. Let's just dump it out. Let's just dump it out. See if there's anything in here we want to use. That's overkill. I was looking at this white rickrack, but it's kind of too white, you know? Maybe I could pop that hole in there. I think that's what I'll do. Oh, that's not what I want. forget that I've got these. In these. Let's find the black one. Yeah, the black will match the thread. Nope, I'm doing it wrong. Shoot. What have I done wrong? Oh no. I thought I had it. I thought I had it all set up for. Yeah, it's set up for 3/16. Well, let's give it another shot. I'm not going to use that same one. Maybe there was something wrong with the eyelet. Because I've never had trouble like that before. Alright, people. Let's give this another try. Okay. Yeah, that feels better. That's better. Oops. Throw that one out before I try to use it again. A little more ink here. Okay. Now I want to add some lace, but none of these. It's never one of these. Let's see what else I got handy. Now, the other day I was saying I never know which way I want to go, front to back or back to front. I have decided I'm a front to back girl. So this has got a little bit of pink in it, mostly ecru. Now, what else can we add to this? I have a little bulb pin. I got these charms when I was in Florida. Like I said, all the Paper Studio stuff was half price. I think adding a charm is overkill on something this small. Alright, so we'll forget that. And maybe what we'll do is just add a little scrap of lace. See if that does anything for me. So I'm just going to sort of back and forth it on here. Nope. I'm going to pull this knot out a bit and then see if I can pull the pin right down. Here we go. Give you a little color. You're standing out just a little too much. I'm gonna add a button. I need a button. Okay, so I decided either blue or pink. I think I'm going to try the blue to sort of highlight the blue thread on the little spools. What if I sewed the button onto the... Alright. This is a process, isn't it? Should I leave this off while I try to sew? Let's do that. Okay. I'm going to show you how to do a quilter's knot. So you're making a ring with your thread. 1, 2, 3. Then holding that wrapped area, pulling it through. So it's Saturday, no big plans today. I always feel like I'm responsible for all the planning. Has that ever happened to you? So I asked, Happy, what do you want to do today? I don't know, what do you want to do today? Nothing. Okay. There is a postcard show tomorrow, local. I don't have to travel too far, that I might go to on my own. I dragged him to a nostalgia show last weekend, so I won't do that to him again. That would be cruel. Okay, I think that's on good and tight. One, two, three. Oh yeah. Pretty happy with that. Okay. What's next on the pile? So we have this. I think I will save that as a journaling card. This one is definitely screaming pocket to me. So what shall we do? That's the first thing we're going to do. I'm not going to need all this bottom part, so I'll cut it off. I was watching Gail yesterday, and she was sorting through her laces and decided to get rid of all the ones that were gathered. And I have to tell you, most of my laces started off their life as gathered, but I just pull the thread out and flatten it. Now you have to be careful if you're pressing them, because some laces can't tolerate heat because there's so much nylon in them. But you know, a little bit of crinkle is okay. I think I put too much glue on. Story of my life. So take a look at your gathered laces and see if they can just be deconstructed. Okay, I like that. Now, how do we pretty this up a bit? Oh, I have this little thing. It's a little too big. Where's my pinky shears? So this little applique flower piece came from a tablecloth that I pressed last night. That's kind of nice, but it needs something else. Let's grab a piece of no. Nope. Still here. What I wanted to grab was I want something that looks a little older than that. Look at that, he's holding a little cat. Keep that too. I don't know when this was printed. Not yesterday, that's for sure. Okay. We'll see if this works. I might want to put that. Let's try this smaller one. Let's try even smaller. Yeah, that works. Now I wondered if I wanted to add a little bit of stitching to this. Definitely will dirty it up a bit though. Let's get dirty, little Mr. Flower applique. Just slightly. Now this one I've adhered to that heat and bond stuff. So I'll have to get my iron. Do I want to do anything else here? I don't think I want to do any more. I think any more would be sort of overkill. Okay, so I'm going to go and iron this. Okay. So you got the idea there. That heat and bond stuff is really, really good. It just finishes off so nice. Let me move some of this garbage out of the way. Okay. So next I have this pocket, and I want to use this pocket to be a pocket. But what it needs is a little bit of collage. So I had pulled, like, I think that's too much. That might be good. I have this wonder how I could use this. Well, I could definitely use some of the lace, so let's cut some of this lace off. And then if there's a way I can use the embroidery, we'll figure that out. This has all been washed and starched. I have to make some more starch. Getting low. Glue this down first. is mucky. That's that other piece I cut off the... I kind of like that, to tell you the truth. Let's see what else I got in here. So I've got this image of sewing machine. Soon be yard sale season again, and I'll be spending my Saturday mornings doing something besides hanging around in my pajamas. I am going to take this flourish off. Eek. Let's give you a little bit of inky, little inky dinky. And maybe I've got these little crochet motifs. Hmm. Why is this so hard? I'll head this stuff too. It's the wrong color. All right. I'm going to try one more image. Wait a second. Do I have a nice flower here? Yes, no. That's ugly. All right, one more image and then that's it. We are going to move along. All right, I lied. 3 more images. Nope. Maybe. Mm-mm. This is it. Shape it into a little tag there. Give it a little. Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Should I try doing another eyelet? The other one thing I was thinking is I could put it on top of a piece of lace, but I don't think so. Ooh, thank you. At least not that one. That's a little wider. Well, that's just messy enough. That's perfect. I like that. So I think I'll put that like that, and I will I will put an eyelet there. What color? Green? Do dark green. And my finger duper. Now I'm worried that when I pop this through that it'll tear, so I'm just going to put it on top of another piece of paper so it doesn't tear the fragile vintage paper, right? This is dark green. And okay, everybody hold your breath. Beautiful. And got some seam binding here. all kinds of seam binding. Kind of like this olivey colored one. And I want this to be a little raggedy, so I need my blue scissors, but I don't have my blue scissors, so that didn't work as well as my blue scissors. Okay. Yep. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so I'm not going to glue that down. I'm just going to put change my mind about the raggeties. Just going to put fiber tack on the back, and then it'll seep right through and hold that down. So this lace is actually part of a doll's dress. I got a tea from McDonald's. I like that. Now I'm wondering if I should actually cut this part off. I don't know why I keep wanting to put white on there. White is not going to work. Okay. I'm going to think about this. Let me try one more thing. That matches really well. But that might be overkill. So I'm going to leave it like that. Okay. And if I want to later, I can cut it off, shorten it a bit. I better put the lid back on this before I make a mess. All right. I have a couple of jars that look like this. One is all pinks. So that's all my pink seam binding. Where's my little thing here? Okay. So this needs a picture to go in there. I've got this little lady sewing. I think she's going to work. By Cracky. So I don't want to glue it on this side. I want to glue it on this side. So I'm just going to use a little bit of Fabri-Tac. If we can get it to come out of the bottle. Come on, you. Coming out slow because I'm barely squeezing it. I don't want to have any issues. Okay, now I can grab some that was the sound of paper clips. I know I have some coffee dyed paper here. Okay. So it's a little big. Should I cut it? Yeah, let's tear it. Keep grabbing this, it's so mucky. Shouldn't. But I want to use it up. Use that and got a little piece of ledger paper. And I'm hesitating because I don't like it. I think it's too dark. Problem with this is it's too round. There. Took off the bumps. So I imagine this video is getting pretty darn long at this point, so I should probably call things to a halt and then come back another time. So I'm not going to close this, I'm just going to show you how it'll look closed. I did use an X-Acto knife to cut that round part. Everything's a little stiff. Oh, wow. Just punch that out. Too small. There. That's much better. Might have to get out my X-Acto knife. Now, in theory, I could add another piece of tape. To the front only. It's hard to tie tiny bows when you've got big hands. Not delicate little This isn't going to work, Nancy. Why are you trying so hard? Try one other thing. Got this seam binding or lace hem stuff. Sorry I'm being so quiet, I'm just trying to think. Which takes a lot of energy. That's better. When I saw the way the bow was going before, I thought, all right, let's see what that's about. Okay. So I'm happy with that. I'll continue to work on these off camera, and maybe I'll do a video tomorrow and show you how, whoops, wrong way, Nancy. Show you how it all turned out in the end. But let's just take one last look before I call it a morning. Okay. So what we've done is we've made this little booklet, which I could totally see myself adding another bulb pin there with something. I can see myself doing that. We made this pocket. We haven't decided exactly if we're going to trim it down yet or not, but I like how that turned out with this raggedy piece of lace. We did this tag from a button card, and we made this pocket. Okay, I finished these 8 pieces off. So we've seen this pocket, we've seen, that was a pocket. We've seen this pocket, we've seen this tag, and I did add a little bulb pin and a scrap of lace to that. This one was the tag from the sweater. I just added a charm with a brad, layered up a couple different kinds of fabric, and this piece of a doily. And this is the wrong color, and I know I have the right color somewhere, but I just wanted to show you that I would probably clip that at the top of a page, and I might add something to this later. I don't know. Might just leave it the way it is. So this has a piece of doily, a couple little scraps of crocheted lace. This is a linen, piece of linen that I've just pinked to use as a tab, and then put this vintage applique on top. I think that tag turned out gorgeous. I think this is just about my favorite. This I'm just going to leave as a journaling spot. It's perfect for that. I mean, I could add, ooh, you know what I have? I have a stamp of a thimble. I think I'll add a thimble. And this, I think, is a good tuck spot. So I've just done a little bit of cheesecloth, scrap of lace. This is from a spool of crochet cotton, and I made these little mannequins with skirts a long time ago, but I just grabbed a small one and glued it on there. So I hope you found this interesting, and it's given you some ideas about how to use sewing notions in your crafting, and we will talk to you soon.